Well, I'm here at the Ben Wybis Hotel in Strathpeffer in the north of Scotland. The window could be a little bit cleaner, but I'm looking at the mountain after which the hotel has been named. In the distance there, and shrouded in mist, a little over 3,000 feet high, is Ben Wybis or Wybis, whichever way you want to pronounce it. I've struck lucky here. A nice room with a mountain view. The first thing I saw getting out of the coach, we have swallows, loads of them. And then looking up above those trees in front, and I didn't capture it on film, was a golden eagle soaring. What a welcome. So, for once, I've got the lucky room, and I'm not complaining at all. Now, if you want to know where my room is, before I get too wet, it's that one there, with a lovely view. And with that, I think I'm going to have to stop filming. It's getting a bit too wet. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. So, further to my video earlier, looking at the front of the building, talking about the trees, the weather's changed considerably. As you can see, we can't even see up the mountains anymore at the moment because of the way the misty rain is coming down. It's not as heavy as it has been. The building dates from 1877. Trying to find out more information about it, it would seem that it was built as a hotel for the spa. Was used by armed forces in the First World War as a hospital. But it's the trees that we find baffling. Somebody said to me these trees grow 100 foot a foot a year. Well, that would make some of them trees only probably 50 or 60 years old. I can't believe that, not when you look at the girth of the trunk. My gut feeling is that these trees have been here for, it's got to be a good 200-300 years old, which makes me wonder what was here before this building was built. Was there a laird's manor? Because these gardens out here are planted to a plan. They don't not just come up willy-nilly. They've been planned. And I'm going to try and find out more information if I can, but very difficult to find anything. So if I do manage to get hold of any more info, I'll certainly put it up and let you know. But hope you can hear that rain outside. We've been lucky so far to avoid it. But I tell you what, up here when it rains, it rains. Here we are then, first morning in the Highlands. The Scottish Highlands. Well, it didn't get dark until nearly 11:30 last night. I think it was still fairly bright, and then about 2 o'clock this morning I could still see a bit of a glow over to the west, and 3:15, 3:45, it's getting light again, so the nights are not very long here in the summer, but I bet they pay for it in the winter. There was a lot of rain last night, and so here we are again this morning. Although, funnily enough, looking up, it almost looks as though the top of the Munro is relatively clear this morning. There we go. I'm sorry about this. I don't know why my zoom does that. Goes out of focus. But you can see clearly the mist just clinging there. I've seen house martins about this morning as well, so there's plenty of life up here. I had hoped I might see one or two deer down in the hotel grounds. That might yet happen, but anyway, here we are, and get myself ready for breakfast and see what the day beckons. Or should I say, see what the day brings. Weather's not expected to be too good, but at the moment I would say it's going to be reasonably warm by the look of that mist. What a view to wake up to, eh? Lucky me. Plenty of those.
Over here, let the traffic round. We don't want to, we're not in a hurry. And have a look, see if we can see any of this bird activity along the coastline. See the seagulls and oyster catchers are quite common. Can you see any of these? See any herons?
No. See an old tyre.
The Cromarty Bridge.
So let's cross the Cromarty Firth on the Cromarty Bridge, 1979. Saves a considerable amount of mileage on the way going from north to Inverness and north to Thurso and from south to Inverness. What's that? Oh, the binoculars, yeah. In and around the Black Isle and the Cromarty Firth and places like that, it's not unusual to see dolphins. Particularly around the Black Isle for some reason. They are quite often seen around the coastline of the Black Isle for some reason. It's one of the popular places to spot them. But
not today, of
it's
course, because
unlikely that
we're
you'll
here.
see them as the tide is low. They tend to only appear at high tide. But it'd be nice to see a couple of dolphins, wouldn't it? A lovely little thing. Coming down now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you might see something. You've got a sunbed.
Oh yeah, heron down there. And there we are.
Thinking, well, it doesn't look like there's many people live on here, but actually there are about 12,000 people live on the island, and very few of them are original Black Islanders. They tend to people tend to come from
I can hardly
Inverness
see it,
to live
yeah.
on the island, and they can live in a relatively country area and commute daily into Inverness. So many other people who live here, that 12,000. So Hugh Miller's house here. Cromarty, it comes from the Gaelic and it means a crooked bay. Cromarty means crooked bay. It's a seaport and originally started life as a fishing port.
So here's a view of our trusty steed and some views looking over the Cromarty Firth where some of the new wind turbines are being made, and also showing some of these ugly monstrosities that are supposedly being stored in inverted commas here.
Occasionally you can see bottlenose dolphins. I think you'll be extremely lucky if you do, but just look out for them, you never know. Usually at high tide, and it's not high tide at the moment, but get out and have a look. I like the town's motto here in Cromarty. It's quite nice to decipher it from the Latin. It simply means, on the coat of arms, it simply means mean well, speak well, do well. That's quite nice, isn't it? Mean well, speak well, do well.
Mean well. Speak well. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's closure.
I love the front of the water places.
Don't get your 50p then. Don't get your 50p for the version. Yeah. Good.
And he had a ranch in Texas, a cattle ranch, and he came up to me and he said, "Jerry, he said, what kind of cattle are these here? And we've got crazy. What kind of cattle?" I said, "Well, actually, I don't know much about that." I said, "But what I'll do, when we stop somewhere and there's a farmer at the gate, well, I'll stop and ask him. You know, you can go and ask him all the questions." So sure enough, we went up the road and there's this farmer standing at the gate. I pulled up. I said, "Come on, Yank, get off and go and ask him." You know. So I went up to this farmer and he said, "Hi," I said, "I'm a rancher in Texas." He said, "Tell me a little bit about your cattle." I said, "What do you call those cattle over there?" I said, "Well," he said, "you see the ones with the longhorns?" He said, "We call them longhorns." I said, "You see the ones with the short horns?" So we call them short horns.
Yeah.
So they asked, "What do you call the ones without any horns at all?" They said, "Oh, we call them horses." That's another Troy one. Just have a look. I mean, I've got any oyster catch. Seriously, there are common around here, the oyster catchers. You see any?
I just saw a wader. I don't know what sort of thing it was.
Waders, yeah, mostly seagulls and waders. Oh, there's something there. Look, little black, is that a dipper? Yeah, it is. It's a little dipper. Quite common usually, the oyster catcher. I can't see any. Long orange beak, and they need that to pick into the oysters to get the food in.
Disgusting, those rigs are being left there to rot.
There's some little dark birds here. I think the dippers, aren't they, or something? I can see. I wonder whether you can.
Absolutely disgusting. I've taken the sound out on this bit because it's really just a bit of advertising. I mean, I don't mind the advertising. I think you all know very well who I travel with by now, but it just gives me the chance to show you a bit more of these supposedly finished with oil rigs that have been put here, as I said in inverted commas, in storage. I've learnt since that the locals would call them abandoned, and even since I made this film and put some of the other comments on it later on, it looks like they're going to be opening a new oil field or gas field in the North Sea. It may well be that some of these will see further use, but in the meantime, aren't they just a blot on the landscape here? Well, we're here in the little tiny harbour at Cromarty on the Black Isle, the northeast coast of Scotland. And as you probably heard and saw in the last 2 or 3 segments, this has become known as the oil rig graveyard, and you can see why the locals are absolutely fed up to the back teeth with it. Apparently it's so expensive to decommission an oil rig, they're just being towed here and left to rot. And the hope is eventually that when they've rotted enough, they'll be much easier to break apart and deal with. But in the meantime, how much damage is done by rotting materials, leaking stuff, nobody really knows. But it almost reminds you of a Cornish harbour, but it isn't Cornwall. You know it's not Cornwall. The feel of it is totally different here. And you look along the line of cottages there. This reminds me very much of the old film Going Home, Local Hero. One of my favourite films of all time. I know it wasn't filmed here, but to be in a village which has that feel is quite something. But we'll carry on walking round and see what we can find. I don't know what we got here. I suppose it's a local lifeboat tower, perhaps. Oh, a yacht club. A little bit of rain about, not too much at the moment. So this is the Cromarty ferry. This is a car ferry. Vans, motorhomes. Interesting. Every 30 minutes. So there'll be another one due any minute now. Well, I'll certainly be interested to see this ferry when it arrives from the mainland, but this is a big surprise here. Did you see that? A cinema. Incredible. And there is quite an interesting building up there. I've no idea what it is. Looks like some kind of observation tower. Zoom in on that. Interesting. It looks like a private residence, but with your own observatory and lookout tower on the top. Very nice. For a little place, there's a lot of very interesting things going on here. And this looks like the ferry coming in. So we'll just watch him in. Mind you, the blurb says they take vans and camper vans, but if that's the size of the ferry boat, how on earth do they get them on? That can't be the ferry. But it certainly has that look about it. Anyway, here he comes. The cormorant just flying across the water. He's going to go right in front of it. Look at that. That is the ferry boat, you know. I don't know if anybody's waiting to catch it. It almost looks like there's a vehicle on there. Yeah, very strange. But the sea today, considering the rain we had earlier, it's just as calm as a mill pond. Look at that. See, these are the kind of things, when you come on a coach tour, you're very lucky to see in many respects. Because the average coach tour probably doesn't come here, I'm guessing. That boat's actually bigger than it looks. Here it is.
I swear you actually see love hearts in his eyes.
I can hear a voice, I can hear a voice. What are you up to? You waiting for mummy?
Look at that. Room for 2 cars, small motorhome, van.
Oh wow, you like capturing little things like that, yeah.
Mind you, a bit precarious, reversing off.
Could do if it's a bumblebee or something, yeah, or a wasp. Off like that.
But here they come.
Not that heavy. Yeah, I quite often do, but not yet. Still time to be bored, not yet.
And that ferry probably saves an hour to an hour and a half, I'm guessing, of driving around the roadways.
Look at you. Well, I'm going to go on the ferry, so I'll see you later.
Bye-bye, please.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Very interesting. Very fortunate to be here at the right time. Well, I have to say this is really quite something here. Look at that. Looks like they do a little bit of, I'll say a little bit, quite a lot of repair work, maintenance maybe. The boats, I don't know about the oil rigs. Just making my way back now. We're very lucky. Oh, what's this? Something that I hadn't seen. There's a new thing coming in there by the looks of it. Have they just towed that in this morning? I'm pretty certain that wasn't there just now, that one in the middle. Maybe it was, I just didn't notice it. Oh well. This is getting busy here now. What have we got here?
Hose is here. Can't stop it now. Oh, right. Wait till the sun will move.
That's very interesting, taking a boat for a walk.
It lives up here. You have to wash it.
I was different to a dog.
Push it forward.
Hi, Charlie Lone.
Ah, interesting.
I'm not.
The things you see in Scotland on a Sunday morning. And just for my grandson Oscar, here we are, Scottish Fire and Rescue. That will be one of the smallest fire stations you've ever seen, Oscar. I'm not going to go too far because we're going to be leaving in a minute, but did you hear that? A seagull with a Scottish accent. How about that then? Now it's raining, so I think that will be about as far as I go this morning because we've got to leave. But that is the way up the street. There we are.